I just thought today I'll talk about books, and the different apps and some of the things that have been working for me. So naturally, one of the things that are really my value is I value learning and continuous growth and progress. That's something that's important to me. I've always been a curious person, and I always like to understand how things work, and I'm sure there's a lot of you who are like that. So predominantly, I think my number one source of books over the last 10 years has been Audible, which is audiobooks. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks over time. I think in my Audible library, I have over 210 titles that I've actually listened to. Then on top of that is, I think over time, I have started to add a little bit of Kindle. And I've had different Kindle books because what I was actually finding was the whole idea around retention. Just to say, okay, I've read 210 books, how much of that do I even remember? And sometimes I find that I can't remember on demand. That is to try to think, but maybe when I have conversation with somebody, the idea of something that I read before, I'll think about it and then it will come back to me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or sometimes when I think about the context, I remember that I had it in a certain lesson. So yeah, Audible has really been number one. It's really good when you're in the move, you're on your daily commute to work. It's really good. You just plug it in your ears and you cover something. And then when you now have Kindle, the good thing is that there's whisper sync. So sometimes I'm listening to audio, and then as soon as I finish what I'm reading on my app or on my actual Kindle, it just it knows where I stop and then it goes on. And then there's the good old fashioned hard copy book. I don't think anything beats a hard copy book. You can smell it, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can put an earmark and everything. So now, of all those three platforms, I've been sort of doing an experiment on myself just to say, what's the best level of retention? And what I've discovered is that definitely the number one way of retaining would be a hard copy book. And I know that this kind of sounds old school or it sounds backwards, but this is coming from somebody. Majority of my books are actually Kindle books and everything. But what I found is it's very easy to get distracted. So if I'm listening to an audio, it's hard to track where I have dropped or where my focus have gone to something else. So therefore, automatically, because of that auditory input, there's a higher chance of me not remembering things because I was easily distracted by something else. So you just kind of, boom, it's gone. So there's more of that happens with Audible. Kindle is better if it's on your phone. You get an alert on WhatsApp or on Instagram, then you swipe and then you're already going to something else. So your attention as well has moved from that. Then with the book, it's really what it is. It's the book that's there. So it's not so much that to say that physical books are better than Kindle books or they're better than Audible, but I think it's just about how you manage your attention and distractions around that. So on top of that, I was thinking okay, how do I make this? So I found a really great app called Readwise. Readwise, it's really good. So what it does is that I used to highlight a lot of pages in say on my Kindle. I like a passage, or I like a paragraph, something that's important, and I highlight it. But you'll be highlighting all these things and you never come back to it. So the good thing about Readwise is that every day it reminds you. So it brings up a paragraph of a passage that you highlighted, and then you just read about it and then you remind. So and they actually use this whole spaced repetition, and so this on how to learn the spaced repetition. And then the other one is, wow, I have a bit of a mind blank, but basically it's the idea of questioning or testing, where you learn by testing yourself. What happens with this spaced repetition is I read something today, I read it tomorrow, and then maybe after 7 days I do the same, and then that's that. And then there's obviously the other part, which is asking yourself questions and doing it. I'll put it in the comment, the exact official name of it, but it's good. So you can once you've highlighted, you can take out an example, and then it asks for active recall. So that's the name, active recall, where it's oh, what is important? Is networking important or something? Say as an example. And then so Readwise is really good, and then on a daily basis, and then it's got a way of encouraging you, a strict. And now what is even really good about Readwise is that you can now send, if you find a tweet that's good, you send it to your Readwise, and then it kind of filters in. which then works together with another app called Instapaper. So Instapaper is like, you read an article, it's not necessarily a book, but you can do the same thing. If you send it to it, you can highlight within that, and then those highlights, they go and auto filter into your read wise. So I just think that after like reading books a lot, one of the main things that I was just kind of thinking is that I just don't want to be somebody who's reading this knowledge, am I even remembering this knowledge? Because I want to have this knowledge that I'm able to share with somebody, have like little snippets and everything. And these are just some of the things that have been helping me to do that and improve. So what do you guys use? How are you retaining and everything? And this whole exercise that I'm trying to do of doing book summaries and then doing videos of them is actually really kind of challenging me to have a little bit of a better understanding, because like I had something that I was doing at work where I did a training for a particular topic, and 3 days ago somebody asked me to fix it, and I fixed it instantly. Before, it used to take me so much time, but because I'd actually prepared the training and I'd done it, it almost solidified the knowledge that I had about the thing, almost like there was a consolidation. I don't know if there's like a scientific term for it, but those are just some of the things that I'm doing. So it's just about how can we retain all this knowledge, how do we use it, and how do we just keep on building up the space. I hope you enjoy this, and if you've got any other ideas of things that you do, the last thing that I do is I use another app called Roam Research. It's basically like your own personal database. It's amazing. I would do a separate video about it, but this is just some of the almost the ecosystem of that I use for the books that I read and the things that I enjoy. And I know it's very geeky, but it works. If it works, and I do it. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed. Please mash the subscribe button, click like if you find value from this video. If there's any specific ideas that you'd like to see me covering or anything of that effect, please do let me know. I'm always here, and I really want to grow this platform so that I help people who are busy, who don't have enough time to read everything, to just give you the condensed summary of what you need to know, what are the key points, what is something that I action, what I agree with, and what I disagree with. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you at the next video. Ciao.